For University of Illinois Extension, I'm Todd Gleason.
The price of good farmland has more than doubled over the last decade. Work from the TIAA-CREF Center for Farmland Research on the University of Illinois campus in Urbana-Champaign suggests, despite reasonable worries, the price of farmland isn't likely to crash.
Farmland markets, despite the recent run-up, have shown themselves to be very rational in many respects with respect to income potential, and rates of returns available on alternative investments.
That's Bruce Sherrick. He's the director of the Farmland Research Center and told a crowd of producers at a winter meeting he's more positive than most about farm ground's staying power.
I am more positive in a relative sense. I'm not suggesting that implies farmland markets are going to continue their rapid increases. I just am being much more, I think, sanguine about the potential for a very radical fall in land values. I don't see that as the typical or expected outcome.
An outcome most in the agricultural world are worried may repeat in some form the farm crisis of the mid-1980s. There are good reasons for that not to happen, even if the two periods look much the same on paper.
People like to look at pictures and say, well, gosh, this looks just like the beginning of the 80s, therefore we must be setting up for a big crash. And I think the fundamentals are completely different. If one tries to understand what happened in the 80s, the reasons we had both the run-up and the crash, and compare them to today, they're completely different stories. We've had much higher incomes that have supported higher land values, higher cash rents. Cash rents have increased and they're very sticky, but they haven't increased on a percentage basis as much as farmland values. So in a very broad brush sense, farmland markets are still fairly rational.
And rationally, because interest rates are so very low, farmland remains a good investment with greater returns than many other markets. You may learn more about the price of farmland from the University of Illinois online at farmland.illinois.edu. I'm U of I Extension's Todd Gleason.